Thank you. Well, KXAN sent a crew to New Orleans for in-depth coverage of what is now Hurricane Isaac. Chris Sadeghi reports on preparations for what may be another major storm to hit the Big Easy.
We're here in the French Quarter on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, where there are still signs on to bars and restaurants, and there were still people out here having a good time last night. But also you see places like this pizza restaurant that have boarded up their windows and doors. The Royal Sonesta Hotel is putting the finishing touches on their preps right now, boarding up their windows. The wind has started to pick up here this morning. It's also starting to rain a little bit. People are going about Tropical Storm Isaac as it stands right now a little bit differently. There were people out here on Bourbon Street, as I mentioned last night, having a good time. They don't expect this storm to pack a very big punch, but others disagree. About 50,000 people have evacuated, going outside areas to find safety as this storm passes through. It's expected to be a very slow-moving storm, expected to dump anywhere up to 20 inches on New Orleans over a 36 to 48-hour period. Those are the projections right now. Stay tuned to KXAN and KXAN.com. We will be here as the storm is expected to make landfall on Tuesday night. From the French Quarter, Chris Sadeghi, KXAN News.
All right, Chris, thank you. And Natalie's tracking Isaac again, just upgraded to a hurricane. Yep. We're watching to see when it'll make landfall. Meantime, back here in Central Texas, it's heating up.
That's right. And we're keeping a close eye, too, on what the storm could mean even for us. So let's start out with a live look out in the Gulf of Mexico right now. Along the Gulf Coast, you can see those rain bands moving inland across New Orleans. As Chris mentioned, they've already seen some rain move through the area. It's spreading out quite a bit, too, through middle of Alabama, Georgia even, Mississippi, seeing some of those rain bands as they move through, the very first ones in the area. We're also starting to see the threat of tornadic activity as there's a lot of spin in the atmosphere with this storm. So as more rain bands move on, that'll be a threat in addition to everything else, the winds and the rain and the storm surge as Isaac moves a little bit closer to the southeastern Louisiana coast later on today. It's expected to make landfall tonight, actually. Look at the forecast models for this storm, and it gets a little interesting. This storm has had forecasts all over the place since it started way out in the Atlantic. So we're watching it right now. Category 1 hurricane with a 75-mile-an-hour winds is moving northwest right around 10 miles an hour. All of them are pretty consistent as far as where landfall will occur. After that, though, there's a widespread. Some take the storm into northeast Texas. If that were to happen, we would see maybe a little rain as well as some wind, cloud cover with that storm. If it goes further east, which is the National Hurricane Center's forecast, we would stay dry with really hot temperatures by the end of this week. A widespread of what's possible with the storms. We're watching it very, very closely.